Today, we're going to talk about slow computers. Last week, we hit on passwords and some of the dumb things we see out there in the wild as pertains to security. But today, we're going to get into a little bit more of the productivity side of things, I guess, maybe. And I'm gonna introduce this by, well, first of all, IT companies. Joe, are we super cheap? Do our customers ever come to us and want to pay us more money?
I don't think that's ever happened.
No, they don't. We are not cheap. We're not like wildly expensive. I mean, my attorney, dang, he charges me $400 an hour. To me, that's expensive. But I'll tell you what, when I'm paying him $400 an hour and he tells me to do something, guess what I'm doing? I'm doing that thing that he told me to do, right? Because I paid him. I paid him for that advice. And what drives me crazy is that people pay us a significant amount of money, and then when we give them advice, sound advice, by the way, they'll think, oh, well, you're just trying to sell me something. We're going to talk about what's smart when it comes to technology, really just finances in general. What's smart is to not spend money just to have a cool gadget. I don't ever recommend that to any of my clients, and I don't do it myself. This is another thing we do not advise people to do in the course of doing, IT consulting. Probably don't need to stay on the cutting edge of everything.
For sure. There's always going to be a guinea pig out there that'll do all the hard stuff for you and go through all the crying and the suffering.
Yeah, right. So the smart approach here is to develop a solid strategy for your business and spend exactly the amount of money required to execute on that strategy. Correct? I mean, is that a good way to say it?
I mean, that's just too much common sense for me.
Okay. Well, and we don't want to go there. Common sense is a misnomer because it's not that common. Anyway, so that's the smart side, right? Buying the right stuff based on the strategy that you're working towards. Now, stupid is saving money at all costs. And what I mean by that is I have watched people spend a small fortune trying to save a few pennies. Joe, what do you see out there where slow computers are involved and how this is not a smart decision to operate on ancient equipment?
Yeah, I'll tell you, let's see, we're recording this here in May of 2020. Just yesterday and every other time I've gone on site to pretty much any new company, there's at least a handful of Windows 7 machines out there in the wild. Let me tell you now, Windows 7 they stopped making that on a computer and selling those, say at Best Buy or whatever, in 2013.
7 years ago.
Over 7 years ago.
And how many of these do you still find?
I mean,
Enough.
A handful everywhere, if not the whole operation, for sure. Microsoft's no longer supporting it, so any kind of bugs or anybody that hacks into Windows 7, unless you're paying them a premium right now to have Microsoft specifically look at your machine, you're not getting any of those security patches, and hackers are just living and thriving inside those Windows 7 machines.
Yeah, and so largely people are doing this because they don't want to spend that massive outlay of cash to buy a new computer, right?
Well, sure, yeah, and the biggest argument is, hey, it's not broken, let's not, we don't need to fix it.
It technically works.
Right, yeah, it'll turn on, it still runs Microsoft Office, it still does this, it still does that. What you don't see, though, in what's not working is security features, is the app developers aren't making stuff for Windows 7.
What is the age we recommend for a productive workstation in a professional environment? Now listen, if you want to have some dinosaur in your home for your kids to dink around on, God bless. But in a business where you're trying to make money and you're trying to keep employees happy and you're trying to keep clients and customers happy, what do you recommend?
Well, we recommend 3 years. We typically say up to 5 years. We give that couple year leeway.
So let's come back to these numbers with that in mind. If I did the math on a minimum wage employee, but let's do the math on somebody who earns a solid $50,000 a year, okay? As a percent of their payroll, a decent, like a really good computer for them is 0.9% of their payroll.